All right. Looks like we are just starting to pop up here.
Hello, hello.
Give people a few moments to pop in. Hello, everyone. Great to see you.
You're getting the behind the scenes look. I'm scheduling an email right now that's about to go out. Corey, how is your afternoon? While I tweak up.
Well, it's my morning. It's
Okay.
just now 12 o'clock here in Missouri. And
So it's 1 minute afternoon.
It's going good. Been working on a lot of things, and a couple I still need to talk to you about too. But yeah, everything's going well. How about the people joining us today? Make sure, please. Well, first off, welcome to the Neuron Live. I'm Corey.
Hello.
Co-host Grant.
I'm Grant.
And Grant is doing the stuff that he does to get us just so people actually know we're here. And we're kind of running through. We're going to run through artificial analysis today, which is a website we use an awful lot in building the Neuron and looking for independent third-party benchmark testing, things like that. You know, benchmarks have their problems, but for what it is, it's the only way we have to really side-by-side things and know what we're seeing. And they're not numbers provided by companies when a new model launches or anything like that. So I think it's really important that we do that and explain to you guys how to use it yourselves and do some cool stuff.
Yeah, and I'll provide a little bit of context as to why I thought it was worth doing this today. There's some cool charts that we'll pull up that kind of shows like what's going on right now, and there's a lot going on.
There's so much. Grant's always fighting to fit everything he wants to fit in the newsletter in there every day. By the way, if you don't subscribe to the newsletter, visit the neuron.ai. Maybe it's close in some way. The neuron.ai.
AI Addicts Anonymous.
AI Addicts Anonymous. And stop over and subscribe. You know, we have a newsletter goes out every morning to near just almost 600,000 people any day now. We should hit that. And, we'd love to have you there as a part of that and a part of this community. And we appreciate that you're taking time out of your busy schedules to come visit with us, just giving folks a couple minutes to get in. And, so something else you want to check out is we dropped a video. Was it Tuesday, Grant, or Monday?
You're talking about the one I'm about to promote?
Yeah, it's about to go out in
this email. It came out. It was published Tuesday, but technically it's going live right now. Cool. It's published.
Cool. Yeah, we did an interview with. Oh my gosh.
Kwasi Ankoma from Samba Nova Systems. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
Kwasi Ankoma from Samba Nova, talking about a whole host of things, but kind of the chief of which is the idea of how to build applications with AI and not bust the bank. You know, he was talking through some different tactics people use to cut down on token costs as well as inference cost, leaning on smaller models for smaller parts of your task and only diving into the big frontier models when you have a problem that needs it. And it's
they're really unique too because they build their own chip and server architecture, so they're like full stack, kind of like NVIDIA, NVIDIA competitor. Yeah,
exactly. First off, hi Cersei, pleasure to have you. Thanks for the kind words. Tony, will this be recorded for later? Yeah, absolutely. Yes. This will be on our YouTube as soon as we're finished, and it'll be there archived forever to watch at your convenience.
We also turn these into blogs. We're a bit behind. We need to do the cybersecurity one that we did a couple weeks ago. You can watch that on YouTube right now, and the live voice demos that we did. That also we're turning into a blog. We'll do it. Just, you can imagine there's a lot going on in AI, so there's new stuff every day. It's very challenging, but we'll get those up by this weekend and share.
Yeah, absolutely.
And stay with this one.
Another one, if you haven't checked it out yet, before we dive in and while Grant's getting situated here, we put together last week. We did a live Sora 2 run through. I don't know if you've been on Sora 2 and having ridiculous amounts of fun like the two of us have. But if you're using it and say things just aren't working out right. You're not liking how your videos look. We published a big guide on that in a video, and I believe there's a web article to go with it too. We can drop in the chat here shortly. Is anyone here on Sora 2? Just out of curiosity.
First one to comment gets an invite code.
Yeah, first one to say I want an invite code gets one. Yeah.
You'll just also have to give us your email somehow. Email us at the team at the Neuron Daily, and we'll send it to you.
Yep. Okay. And my Cameo is public, so feel free to do all of the ridiculous things that people do when they get in there and enjoy them. All right, let's see here. Grant, do you want to bring this up on your screen?
Yeah, I will.
Cool.
As soon as I send this out, which will be in 2 seconds.
A couple other cool things we've got on the horizon here. We got a big interview coming out next week that's going to be really interesting. You'll want to see. Can't say who it is yet. It's not Sam Altman. Just to say that up front. But
we're working our way up to Sam.
But it is going to be, I think, a really cool one. You might not know the name, but you'll definitely be interested in what they have to say. We also, Grant and I will be going and attending Adobe Max, which should be a lot of fun. And we're going to do a few interviews there and hopefully do a live from Adobe Max in downtown LA. After that, we're going to be attending the Tech Equity AI Summit it's in Silicon Valley, but I don't have the address on me yet because they're just sorting out this agreement today, and I'll have some information by the time we're finished. Make sure it's in the chat. That should be a good one as well. Lots going on there. Yeah, so we're staying busy, and as if the AI news flow pace was not keeping us busy enough.
Corey, do you want to take up? So I sent you 2 tweets in our thread. The first one is the first one I wanted to talk about, which is the Grant Slatton tweet. Would you actually share that one? Because I think that's important.
Oh, I see it. Yeah. Hang on just a minute. Mm-hmm. I have to log in. Yeah, if you are, by the way, on Sora 2, you can find me at CNoEvil, CNoEvil. And hit me up. It's fun. I've had it's the kind of thing I really didn't expect to like, but yeah, it's quite a blast in all of the wrong ways. Let's see. Share screen. All right, here we are. This is let me expand my screen here so we can try to fit this whole thing. Whoa. Now I'm hitting everything. Okay. Can I get it all in there? Yeah, there we go. All right, Grant. Let's get this on the stage. I don't have a good way to get all this stuff out of the way. But
oh, that's okay. I can send you actually the graphic itself. How about that?
Okay.
But we'll share the tweet first. We'll provide some context on that, and then
and I can drop the tweet into our chat in YouTube for anyone that wants to check it out themselves as well. Follow along a little more closely.
All right, so I just shared the image with you, but we'll start with this. So the inspiration for this live was a very long introduction I was writing for the email, and just couldn't fit it in. But I wanted to talk about like kind of the 2 main trends that are happening in AI right now, specifically concerning the back end and the front end. So if you think of AI as like software, right? You have the front end, which is the user interface that you interact with, and you have the back end, which is all of the code in the background that makes that work. Well, if we think about the AI industry, right? The back end is essentially all of the data centers that they're building. And this amazing chart from Bloomberg here, as shared by Grant Slatton, kind of shows you just how all of the major players in this industry have sort of like aligned and created this giant, massive, I'm not going to say bubble, but hyper object, as he calls it, where they have all these interflowing, interconnected systems amongst themselves, and it's quite fascinating when you see it like all in one place. So Corey has like the big chart ready to go. So let's zoom in on this.
Yeah, let me real quick here bring this one down, and we're going to stop screen, add screen. Takes me just a minute to swap screens. Sorry for the inconvenience. I wish I had a faster way of doing that, but hey, it is what it is. All right. There we go.
This is the wrong one. This is
it is the only one I saw. Hang on.
Oh, really? No, there's another one that's I can talk about this though. This was from today's newsletter.
Yeah, go ahead and talk about that one and I'll find the other one.
So the chart that you're seeing in front of you is actually, so long story short, there's two studies that were shared by Ethan Mollick and Eric, who commented. I wrote his name in the newsletter, but I don't know his last name, so I'm not going to try and pronounce it. But there was basically a conversation happening on X, and one was about a study that recently came out, and the other was a Stanford study. And the first study was polling the public, and essentially what they were asking is, what jobs are you comfortable automating? And why? And they ask a series of questions in order to find out. And so they polled about 2,000 people, actually over 2,000 people, to find out what they found was like morally repugnant to automate. And what they found was like, yeah, we're fine with that.
Yeah, like we're fine with that. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was, I mean, as you would expect, like the number one most morally repugnant job to automate is clergy. You probably don't want to get your like faith-based advice from a robot.
I think that makes sense. I think we'll give them that one.
Care workers is another one. So people who work with in healthcare, work with elderly people. You want a human touch there. Therapy, caseworkers. You want people to people interactions. Like you need people to understand what you're going through in that situation. You can't automate that, I think. Now in the thread on X,
now lots are.
Yes, that's true. There's actually, I mean, right now everyone is trying to automate everything, and I think the reason why we wanted to cover both of these studies was because I think we need to, as a society, as a community, start to hone in on what are the things that we're gonna make it. What are we okay with automating, and what are we not?
Yeah.
Because I think like just because we can do it doesn't mean we should do it. And so this study puts both of those things in perspective. Now, the chart that we're looking at here actually compares, so what people find morally repugnant or morally okay to automate, and compares it to what workers said they wanted automated themselves. So the separate poll from Stanford from about June basically asked workers, well, like, okay, so you're the ones who are going to get quote unquote automated away here. What do you actually want automated? And it's obviously like the first study was talking about entire roles that were getting automated away. The second study was breaking it down into tasks, because you're actually asking the people who work in these roles what they would like. So this chart here compares what workers want to automate, what they would find useful to have automated, against what the public finds morally repugnant. And so it's put it in a nice grid here. So it shows you in the bottom left corner. So, you can, what does that say?
I think it's curious that final hiring and firing is on there.
I need to make this bigger because I can't read. Okay.
So pilot on that.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is the obvious one, right? Like I think the EU laws, and there might even be US laws that address this. Like you cannot use AI to make automated decisions on someone's like ability to get a loan or ability to take a job. Like you have to be very, very careful with using AI in those use cases, because you don't want to automate discrimination.
I was thinking of the act of having the call.
Well, that's happening. Like the act of interviewing people is being automated on both sides. People are using Cluely, which is a tool that lets you cheat and gives you the answers mid-interview. Employers are using tools that essentially screen candidates with AI, and then even have the first call with a candidate be a robocall, essentially.
Wow.
So there's like this war of attrition happening here. So obviously people find that morally repugnant. Then parole and probation risk calls. Again, another situation where you need a lot of high empathy, high human to human understanding, and dispatch and authority decisions. You don't want RoboCops. Like I don't think anyone wants like robots to be making like decisions on who gets arrested and who doesn't, which makes obvious sense there. And then, you know, as you go further on the side of worker automation desire, but in areas that people do find morally repugnant, you have assistive only, right? Which is care and therapy, like intake summaries. I think workers are okay with having the intake summaries automated because it's very legalistic. It's very administrative. I think they're fine with that. Sensitive customer communications, you probably don't want that automated. And then policing adjacent administration, I think we're maybe okay with that being automated, but there's some really gray areas there. And then on the above, the next quadrant up on the top there, you have things that we can augment carefully. So you should co-pilot by design, and then things that are a green light on the right-hand side. So this is like things that both the public and workers agree, yeah, you can go ahead. Could go ahead and automate.
Just go for it. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's scheduling and reminders. I mean, you see ads for that all the time. Payroll error fixes, records upkeep, things that are, you know, just you doing manual data entry. People are fine with automating that.
Yeah.
Standardized reporting, that should be automated.
Big piece of the economy, though.
What do you mean by that?
Data entry.
Oh, yeah. But we're not saying the whole job goes away, but the tasks, these types of tasks inside the person who's doing that. So like you wouldn't want to replace your CFO with an AI, for example. And that person has teams that they communicate with and work with under them. So you probably don't want to replace all of those people. But there's certain tasks
that you may replace some.
Yeah. That's going to happen.
I was just thinking from an industry perspective that data maintenance. The other one that's really big that I haven't heard mentioned here is call centers. I think call centers are going to have a big impact. And I is it on any of the other lists? I'd be curious to see where that's.
There was a chart that we shared from the original study that was polling the public. Let me pull that up.
Okay, I'll pull this one down.
Okay.
I've got your next one ready too, whenever the time.
And by the way, for people tuning in, we are going to get to artificial analysis. Don't worry.
Just won't be long at all. We just wanted to show these couple things and then.
Yeah. All right. So. Let me share this.
All right. As soon as you pop in, I'll bring it up. Hope everybody's doing well today. Looks like we got quite a few people in. Really appreciate it. If you haven't yet, please take a minute to like, subscribe, everything, you know, all the things to do. If you do them, we appreciate it because we love being able to keep doing this. And also there's a new thing, hype points. They apparently don't cost anything. You just hit a button. If you see one of those and hit it, we appreciate it. Just a reminder, we're still going to give a Sora code to someone in a few. First person who asks for one in the chat. First one to pop up in the chat. Let me rephrase that. I'm going to switch it here from top chat to live chat. So that way we get the right order. All right. Sorry, Grant. Go ahead.
So I'm presenting my screen. Yeah. So right here, this is a chart. This ranks the roles that people find the most morally repugnant to replace with AI to the least morally repugnant. So as we mentioned, number one is clergy with a repugnant score of 5.91, which means people find it highly, highly repugnant. Do not automate faith-based communications and wisdom and guidance. Keep your faith leaders human. Okay. Number two is childcare workers, marriage and family therapists, administrative law, judges, adjudicators, and hearing officers, athletes and sports competitors. So people do not want to see robots doing the Olympics yet. Craft artists, police and sheriff patrol officers, funeral attendants. I can see why you would want an actual human to be your funeral attendant. Barbers and actors. Actors is an interesting one given the whole Sora 2 situation. Yeah.
It is. Hey, Grant, is the email theneurondaily or neurondaily.com?
Team@theneurondaily.com.
All right. Team at theneurondaily.com. Shoot us a note. Okay. All right. And don't sweat it if you didn't get this first one. We'll have some more as we go on. I have at least 2 today that I can give out personally. So,
by the way, this study was from Harvard. I didn't mention that earlier, just FYI. Yeah, so I'm not seeing customer service representatives on here. I know that's the one that a lot of people talk about. They didn't put it in their highest to lowest. So as you can see here, the least repugnant ones is like derrick operators, oil and gas.
Biostatisticians? I don't even know what a biostatistician is.
I don't know what that is. Cashiers, it's an interesting one. Janitors and cleaners, except maids and housekeeping cleaners, just interesting. Data entry operators. Yeah.
I didn't know that was still a job.
I wonder if that falls under more so the, I don't know, to be honest. Transportation planners, which is interesting. Search marketing strategist, which I looked that up. I was like, does that mean SEO? It's technically more so a person who's like, who works with SEO, but they also do like paid media buying and that sort of thing. So that's another thing that people say like, yeah, we can automate that. That's fine.
There we go.
And file clerks. Yeah.
Oh man, interesting.
It's very
I'd love to see the numbers on what actively is being automated right now too, and how those combine with that list. Because these are just preferences, not what's actually like happening in the real world necessarily. Correct. These are people's opinions on what they would be least objected to see. Correct.
So that's just like some context about what we wrote today. That's very interesting when you think about it in the context of this larger picture, which for everyone who's tuning in now, we're trying to frame this as, okay, there's 2 things going on in AI. There is the front end, and then there is the back end. So if you think of it like software, the back end is all of the code that essentially, helps your software run, and the front end is like what you as the user see and work with, directly as an interface. So on the back end of the AI industry, you have all of this spending going on. I think OpenAI had a $300 billion deal announced with Oracle, something like $100 billion in investment from NVIDIA. If every time they make a new gigawatt level data center, NVIDIA will invest about $10 billion in them. And then they had a new deal with AMD that just came out. That was interesting. I don't know the exact finances on that off the top of my head, but might be listed on here somewhere. But this just shows you that, okay, so all of this money is funneling into OpenAI right here. You have like some of the biggest AI companies. So we were mentioning the roles that people are fine with automating. These 3 companies right here, Ambience Healthcare, that's health related. Harvey AI is legal, and AnySphere is Cursor, so that's coding. They're all putting tons of money into OpenAI because they're using OpenAI's credits and
into and out of.
That's right. They're getting money from, and it's a circular situation here. Then you've also got Microsoft, obviously involved, who's investing not only in OpenAI and getting revenue from OpenAI, but then they're investing in Nebius, which is a cloud service provider, and CoreWeave, which is another cloud service provider. Intel is also paying investment. Yep, and NVIDIA. Yep. As you can see, NVIDIA is the center here, right? NVIDIA is getting all of this money from all these doing well players.
You know what, though? I have an opinion on this. I've watched a number of interviews this week with Jensen Huang, who really fascinates me and has made just a countless list of smart business decisions, in my opinion. But one of the things that I think is the core about this, if they can invest a little bit of money into some of these companies and help keep them solvent while they don't have the stand-up revenue to come in, I mean, that's good business for NVIDIA. It's in their interest for these companies that are buying from them to be supported, because if they are supported, they will continue needing GPUs. They will continue needing other services that NVIDIA provides. And my God, they do everything.
Right. That's
So
true.
I
And
think it's
as
also important to note that they're not, I mean, like as far as my wallet is concerned, they're major investments. But a lot of these are, fairly small investments as well, in the idea that probably this keeps the regulatory watchdogs off them for a longer period of time, as opposed to what acquiring some of these would do to them.
Yeah, really all of this has to do with like big tech monopoly regulation, right? Like
Yeah.
that's why they're coming up with all of these creative ways to invest and buy in each other's stuff. Like, for example, Lena Khan came into the, I believe she was the head of the FTC
Yep.
under the Biden administration. And it basically put a freeze on giant mergers. Like they didn't want a situation to happen where Facebook buys Instagram for $1 billion and WhatsApp for however much that they spent on that, maybe 10 billion.
Yeah.
And they wanted to freeze that to prevent there being like another, series of just the biggest companies just getting bigger and bigger. So all of this like creative circular stuff going on is sort of a reaction to that. As Dylan Patel put it on in the interview we shared, Invest Like the Best recently, it's like, and I think he said it on A16Z, he said it a couple times, NVIDIA can't spend all of its money, right? Like it's not possible for them to spend all of the money that it's bringing in. So, I mean, why not invest in the companies that are, going to be, important for this industry? It makes sense, like you said, from their perspective.
Yeah, and from a scale perspective, it's also important to understand that with the exception of Microsoft, NVIDIA could just buy all of these if they chose to. The amount of cash, the size of their market cap, none of these, with the exception of and they could buy Microsoft, but then they couldn't buy all of the others. So like,
but again, they can't from a regulatory perspective.
Yes, correct. Yeah. But just from a scale perspective, like it blows my mind to sit and think about the idea that I did the math last week. Now this was before AMD's.
Also, I don't know that if they ever could, because I don't think NVIDIA themselves control that entire market cap. So I'm pretty sure they couldn't.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I just, from a size perspective as to how big they are, and like before AMD popped this week after the OpenAI announcement, by the way, I did the math, and NVIDIA is 18x larger by market cap than AMD. And that is massive. Massive. Because I think they were sitting at like 241 that day.
Right.
It's just, it's crazy to look at and think, but it's interesting to see here how the money flows and where it's going.
Yeah, I share all this to say, like, okay, we're seeing all of these massive deals happening, and it's all to build out data centers, right? And pay for the cost of all of these AI tools. You, as the end consumer, however, are seeing the front end of this, which is your AI tools are getting better, your AI tools are getting smarter. You're either using AI tools from like the main providers, or you're using them, through like, let's say, like if you're using Cursor, like you're either buying it directly from the OpenAI and Anthropic, or you're paying Cursor and getting tokens through them. If you're using Harvey for your legal advice, you're getting tokens from OpenAI through Harvey. So all of this money is going to funding all of this incredible growth that's happening in this industry. So
which is probably the world's largest infrastructure project ever, if I had to guess.
That's what Sam Altman said. Yeah, there's a great interview I did just recently with A16Z that we should. I want to share a couple of facts from, but I want to get to artificial analysis. So I share all of this just to show that it's just like there's a lot going on here. So where is all of that going, and why should you care? So let's look at this. So now that's the back end. That's for context. Here is the front end. So this is a post from, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly, but Hader, Slow Developer, Hader.
I call him Hader. I don't know if that's right, but he's a good follow.
Yeah, he's really great. He shares a lot of really awesome content on X, but he's just basically showing you this cycle. And you might have seen this chart before, but it basically says, All right, so OpenAI released GPT-5 in August, only in August. It's not that long ago.
No.
Anthropic released Sonnet 4.5 in September. That's not that long ago. In fact, we just covered that.
Yep.
Soon after now, right, Google is going to launch Gemini 3. Some people think that could happen as soon as this week.
Yeah, I've heard dates this week 3 different times. I heard it was coming Monday, then I heard it was coming the 9th. I heard it was coming the 9th a number of times, that's today. So I mean, if we're behind and it's already launched, let us know and we'll go demo that for you too.
I'll just do a quick search real quick to make sure. Google Gemini, let's see. Google Gemini 3.0 Pro release imminent 2 days ago.
2 days ago. Yeah. Yeah, so that'll come soon, and we'll definitely get on that when it does. But back to what you were explaining here.
Yeah, so that's about to come out, and then a month later, right? Or actually, let's just say a couple of weeks from now, we know that XAI is just started or is about to start running a new training run. Which, if it goes well, we assume that will be Grok 5. If it doesn't go well, maybe it'll be 4.5. Like, like they'll split the difference. If it's still a meaningful improvement, but they don't want to say like this is. If it doesn't like lap all of the other competitors, then they probably won't call it Grok 5 is my guess. And they'll keep training until they get to the point where they have beaten everybody else. But it's a cycle, right? Because then once Grok 5 comes out, maybe we'll have like a Chinese open source model comes out that beats GPT-5. So then OpenAI will have to release something new. And then that means Anthropic will have to release something new and Gemini will have to release something new and on and on and on we go.
And this will be the cycle probably for as far as the eye can see, at least.
Until like maybe this stuff just gets unaffordable for like the average consumer and it sort of plateaus, which even then I have a trouble understanding what that would look like. Or all of the data center deals, like that big hyper object we showed you like collapses, and then what do you do then? Well, in my opinion, you should have local AI on your computer so that you don't need cloud providers. But that's a topic for another day. So what do you do as the consumer? How do you know what tool you want to use for your use case? Like, what AI is the best for you? We get it. Okay, GPT-5, sure, it's the best at coding. If you're not coding, do you really need GPT-5? I find that when I ask GPT-5 to write for me, a lot of times it's like really awkward. Like I have trouble reading it a lot of the times because a lot of times GPT-5 is made for agents to communicate with each other. And I feel like
that's not the experience I have.
And that could just be our settings, right? Like that's the thing. You can customize so much stuff on top of these models now that you can really tweak them to the best of your ability. So do you really need the best model, or do you just need the one that you're the best at using?
Maybe you need a router.
Yeah. I personally don't use GPT-5 router. I only ever use GPT-5 thinking, which
I used to do that and I've stopped.
Yeah. Why is that?
I use the router now because the number of things that I would have gone to GPT-5 thinking for and waited a long time that come back from 5 instant plenty good is kind of shocking.
Well, actually, I want to show people something because I think this is valuable to know. So when you go to GPT-5 thinking, right, there's all these different ones. There's auto, well, GPT-5 here. There's auto, there's instant, there's thinking mini, thinking, and pro. This is pro because we're on the pro account here to test it out. But when you go to thinking, you can actually choose how long you want it to think every time you go. So instead of me using the router under auto, I will just decide this is a light request. I'll say, tell me everything there is to know about artificial analysis and give me the direct URL to their website.
See, now I use Thinking Mini a lot. I've gotten to where I only go to 5 Thinking if it's a really heavy ask now.
To be honest, I only go to GPT-5 for heavy tasks, and everything else I use Claude 4.5.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. So that might be the difference between me and you. Like if users are on ChatGPT right now, they're probably going to just stay in ChatGPT. I don't imagine they're going to switch. But we'll talk about in cases where you would want to switch and how to do that in a minute. So here, as you can see, it thought for a little bit, 8 seconds, went out, did some searches, gave me the direct link to artificial analysis.
That's so fast.
And yeah. And then it says, so artificial analysis is a site that independently benchmarks and compares AI models and providers on intelligence and quality, price, speed, tokens, latency, context window, and more. What they publish leaderboards, 500 plus endpoints tracked. Yeah, this website is awesome. 100 plus LLMs, which is a large language model, which is ChatGPT, ranked by intelligence, price, and performance, categories like text to image and text to speech, model profile pages with per model pricing, measured through throughput and latency and comparisons. And they also host versions of their boards on Hugging Face Spaces. That's actually cool. I'm going to open that. And then it tells you who's behind it: Micah Hill Smith and George Cameron. So thank you guys. You create a valuable resource. Please come on our show. We'd love to talk to you. So let's look at this website. Corey, you had a chance to look at this a bit. Do you have any initial thoughts to share on your opinion?
I like it. My biggest thing is that the better these models get and the more competitive the industry becomes, the less I trust the numbers that the various labs, and I say this of all of them, and I don't even mean it as disrespect. It's very much just a business thing they do. And but the more that I want the numbers I'm looking at to be independently verified, it's real easy. If, for example, if I'm selling you a banana, it's easy for me to tell you this is a great banana because I'm trying to sell you a banana. I want someone over here to tell me that's a great banana and have no stake in the game. And that is what this, at least as best I can tell, offers. And I've used the site quite a bit before, looking through some of their tables and other things. I like that they have surveys to participate in. I think that's a good thing for people to do. And these all look pretty on par with, what you'd expect to see, but it goes a lot deeper, right?
Yeah, definitely. And so the thing that inspired me to, write that lead in that we had and bring us here, we're going to get to all of the individual charts and where everybody lands on that. But artificial analysis has this really cool page, and I think it's just /trends, that shows you like trends in AI and progress. And it has a lot of like trending charts. That's like, for instance, tracking capital expenditure by major tech companies over time. This is really interesting because you can see like, okay, in 2020, this is how much they were spending. And then now it's up to here where it's like, we've got Oracle spending $9 billion. Is this quarterly? Yeah. Oracle spending $9 billion.
So I guess these are
Amazon is spending 31.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see, who's this? Meta is spending,
but they may not have the full final data yet. Might be why it's not marked.
Yeah. But it just shows you like the scale of this, like, okay, the spending's getting high. Now, why does the spending need to get so high? Well, because not only is there a lot of demand for AI, allegedly, I mean, I think a lot of people are using it, but there's also a lot of like the amount of tokens that we use has dramatically increased. So with reasoning, right? I just showed you thinking. When it's thinking, it's still running tokens on the back end. Token is essentially a word. Sometimes multiple words are split up into multiple tokens, depending on how it tokenizes. But essentially, it's just all of the words that it's running in the background. And when it's doing that, it's running a series of calculations on the back end to decide what words to say. So not only does reasoning increase tokens, when you have an agent that goes out and does something autonomously, that also increases tokens by a dramatic amount. We just talked to Kwasian Koma at Samanova Systems, and he was saying that it can sometimes increase it by 10x the amount of tokens using an agent. So that's a lot of data centers and chips running in parallel, and that's why they have to spend all this money.
And this chart, when you look at it, that the thing to know is that that's a heck of a curve you're looking at there in 8 quarters. So 2 years, you're looking at capital expenditures tripling.
Right.
Like that's big and fast. That's an average of what? Let's see, roughly just shy of 0.4x per quarter. Like that's I think my math's wrong there.
That's fine. Back of the napkin math, but it's a dramatic increase. I mean, you can see the increase just from here to here, and here to here. Like they're spending a lot. And everything that you do, that requires GPUs is going to require more inference, and that needs more power, which is why they're talking about nuclear power plants and gigawatt level data centers and et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
But that's just one chart that you can see on here, right? There's another chart here that's pretty cool. This is AI progress. I'm going to move my screen a little bit so I can see it. So this shows frontier language model intelligence over time. So this is a great way to benchmark just where we are in that cycle that Hader shared earlier. As you can see here, GPT-5 high is at the top. I believe, if I'm getting this correctly, what that is referring to is when you do thinking high. So for instance, when we
the high in the parentheses, yeah,
exactly. And then also GPT-5 codex high is at the top there. It's neutral because it's running.
Yeah, because if you're measuring intelligence, you'd want it at its most capable, I guess.
Yeah. And then you can chart, okay, so here's where we are in terms of frontier intelligence. GPT-5 is at the top, but then you have Grok right there, right ready
nipping at its heels.
Right about to leapfrog us there. Yeah. And then we also have Gemini, who's down here, and this also looks like this is ready to pop any day now, any minute now. Here. Then we have Claude 4.5 Sonnet, which is right, it's not quite at Grok 4's level in terms of how they measure intelligence, but people really, Anthropic came out of the gate swinging, and they said this is the best coding model in the world. I think people have debated that, whether that's true or not, but it's certainly good.
It's my favorite thing from Claude in a long time, or from Anthropic. I'm a big fan of 4.5. Like I still use GPT-5 for most of what I do, but I have been leaning into Claude a little bit more since that came out, and just liking that it's a little less wordy. It feels like the first time it's got some attention beyond coding, if that makes sense, into it since 3.5-ish. 3.5 I loved 3.5 for so long, and but yeah, lots of good things to say about 4.5 Sonnet.
So other charts that you can see here on the trending page of artificial analysis, you have intelligence versus release date. So
okay,
I don't know what model this is referring to, but I guess it shows you how high the intelligence has gotten over time.
Yeah. Is it a specific model or just testing dates, I wonder? Or no, those are release dates.
Click for more information. Didn't tell me. We'll just skip past that for now. Leading models by AI Labs, so it shows you, which model has which lab. This is interesting. This is reasoning models versus non-reasoning models. So it shows you how many of these are the thinking versions that we just showed at the top level, and how that's pretty much scaled, how good the base models are. Interestingly here, it looks like the top one, and this could just be based on which ones are selected, you can always add or take away models from your analysis here. You can totally customize their charts based on what you want to compare. So if you wanted to take all of these players off the board here and just compare the two that you were looking at possibly running yourself, you could do that.
Grant, who were the people who run this site? We got a question from chat.
Oh yeah, let's pull that.
We just looked at that a minute ago, and I thought you might still have that info handy.
Yeah, I do. It's on ChatGPT. So we asked ChatGPT, and they said Micah Hill-Smith and George Cameron are the people who run it. So shout out to them. They're awesome. Then this also has efficiency here, which I think this is really cool. So this is an analysis of how efficiency in AI is developing. This considers the cost of achieving levels of intelligence at the speed at which intelligence is accessible. As you can see, efficiency, it's getting very, very cheap to do this stuff. This one here is Gemma 3N, which is a model that you can run locally on your computer, right? So language model output speed. So this shows you, like how quickly you get the answer you want. There might be some cases where you want more speed for a model that you're deploying at scale, or let's say you just want to get answers quickly, like Corey was talking about earlier. You might not want to use GPT-5 thinking for everything. Well, here it shows the new Gemini 2.5 Flash. It's really fast. like
Yeah,
really, really fast.
that is fast. Where does GPT-5 rank there? Because when I think of like GPT-5 Core, I'll remember the first day that you and I popped it up live. We may have been on a live. I don't remember. We were on something, and I just remember we hit a button, and it came back and said it read like 21 websites, and we were like, "Oh, whatever." No, you did not. It was like
Yeah.
lightning fast, and then we got into looking, and it was like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, it
This
did."
is interesting. I'll answer that in a second. I'm just finish the trending page. This is interesting. So you
Okay.
can see like frontier language model intelligence by country over time. So this is comparing where China is versus where the US is.
Mhm.
Looks like you can add other countries there if you want to compare Israel, Canada, France, South Korea. It's very cool. Then open weights versus frontier language model intelligence over time. So that's quite interesting. But this is just
Yeah, it
comparing
is.
China and the US.
What was
Oh, sorry.
what was
This
at
is
the top of open weight?
sorry, this is just open weights comparison. So right now it's like GPT OSS 120B
How that
and
checks out.
DeepSeek V3.1 Terminus.
Yeah, those
Leading
both
models by
yeah.
country. So it shows you what's the best model in China, in France, and South Korea. Very cool.
Ooh, that is
Open
cool.
source models. Let's see this open weights versus proprietary intelligence. So you can see the best open weight model is GPT OSS 120B according to this analysis of.
This is also the chart that shows you how open weights generally catch up with the other intelligence over 9 months.
Yeah.
Like that,
exactly.
as a general rule, open weights models, open source, as we would commonly call them, about 9 months for their quality to catch up to what a new frontier level will be.
And this shows you here an artificial analysis intelligence index by open weights versus proprietary. So as you can see here, this is the proprietary stuff, and here's the open weight stuff.
Is Quinn in there?
Interesting. Yes, Qwen 3 Max.
Sorry, these charts are great. I have questions.
No, this is good. Yeah. Well, let's see if we can make it bigger. Yeah, this is better. Okay. So yeah, here we can see the new Qwen 3, the really big one, 235B A2020.
And that's not the max model.
No, but this is open weight. So this is the one that they released that's open weight. Qwen 3 Max, as you can see, is right here. Which interestingly, it's less intelligence.
I didn't realize it wasn't open.
Yeah, they actually, this could be old. Artificial analysis does not always have everything right away because testing all of this stuff takes time. So I don't know if they've released a fully open version of Qwen 3 Max. I forget, but I know at the time they were basically saying like, look, this is really big and expensive to make it. And, at some point, who makes this? Alibaba, I think?
Yeah.
They're going to have to get a return on these models. The classic phrase is
something.
open source when you're behind, closed source when you're ahead. That's kind of the strategic calculus here. So obviously they're trying to get market share by open sourcing all of this stuff. But once Alibaba is really, competitive, like truly competitive with these top players over here, then they'll probably stay close.
It's also important to note here. Can you scroll back up, please?
Yeah, to where?
Where you were, right there. That you notice here, you're looking at 68 on GPT-5 Codex High. But I mean, when you go down here, even to Qwen Max, you're still only down at 55. Like, these are still good models in the middle that have tons of great uses. Like not everything has to be at the frontier level. There are a lot of things you'll do, tasks at work, pieces of tasks at work, where these models are sufficient, more affordable in some cases, and absolutely good enough for what you need. Right.
That's true. And I think we'll get into like how to decide that essentially, but I think it's an interesting situation, especially if you're running a business. Like, do you need to run GPT-5? Do you need to run Claude 4.5? Like, both of those can be very expensive. So it really depends on your use case. And
well, you have a price chart on here too, don't you? That shows token cost.
Let's see if there's anything else interesting here. Total size, active parameters. This is a little more technical.
Just out of curiosity, I'd like to see that one.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm a chart nerd too. I'm having fun.
So this is the total number of trainable weights and biases in the model. These parameters are learned during training and determine
Kimmy
the
at 1
model's ability to
trillion.
process.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'll
So
tell you what,
passive and active is interesting. Yeah.
GPT OSS 20B to be a 20 billion parameter model is crazy good. It really is crazy good for what it is. Not even just for what it is. It's just a good model, you know. Llama Nemotron. Interesting. That the 49B version. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
We're going to have
Remember,
an
this
interview
is
coming about Nemotron real soon.
This is comparing active and passive parameters.
Okay.
So I don't know if I could give you a really easy definition for that. Go ahead.
If you want. Yeah, active parameters are the total number of parameters of a model. And passive parameters, to my
I think it's opposite.
understanding. Oh, excuse
It's opposite.
me. Thank you.
Yeah.
Passive parameters are the total number of Yeah, I said it backwards.
Yeah.
Passive.
Yeah.
I saw it on the left and thought first. Passive parameters are the total number of parameters that make up the entire model itself. Active parameters are the number of parameters it calls in a given query.
And a parameter is just like the simplest definition on that is all of the numbers and calculations that determine the weights and when essentially like all of its understanding of the world and text and what it means, all of those numbers makes up a parameter. So when we're talking about billions of parameters here, or like Kimmy K2, essentially a trillion parameters of passive parameters, right? That's what they're saying there. It's essentially saying like that's how much information is encoded that it's has like from all of its training all of the connections between all of the different words that it knows and concepts that it knows.
Yeah. What are Nemotrons active? I think it said active 49B. I asked because
maybe they're all active. Maybe they're all active.
I think that's a mixture of experts model, which is doing a similar thing to what we're talking about here.
Yeah, it doesn't change.
I'll mention mixture of experts because I think there's a similar analogy that works with this in the way we're talking about it. Mixture of experts is the idea that you wouldn't call the entire model for every query, which is what some of these really big, dense frontier models are doing. You know, they send a message in and every node is like, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, or whatever the case is. And where mixture of experts doesn't, it calls the area of that network that is like, this is where HR information lives. This is where art history would be, roughly. And can have a number of those experts going at any one given time. Like, you know, they'll vary from as few as like 8 to as many as I think 128 on Llama 4 Maverick. And I liked the analogy I give for this and how it makes sense is, suppose you're a CEO and you need to have a conversation with someone on your team. Do you call the entire team to a meeting to talk to one person or 5 people? No, you call that team in. And that's what this is doing. Instead of calling the whole company, it's calling the team it needs.
And that helps you with efficiency, essentially.
Yes.
Like it's cheaper to run, it's faster to run because you're not calling the whole brain. You're just calling like the place where you had that information stored, essentially.
Exactly.
Yeah. So this is interesting. So this is intelligence versus active parameters. So it basically shows you, okay, for everyone who's using the mixture of experts model, like Corey's talking about, like, okay, how smart are they doing that? GPT OSS is quite intelligent here with less active parameters. Looks like the smartest is DeepSeek v3.2 with, was that 32 billion active parameters?
Is that
or
right there? Is GLM 4.6 tied to that? Because that just dropped this week, didn't it?
GLM, yeah, they're like neck and neck. I think they're on top of each other here. It's really, let me remove DeepSeek and see.
GLM's from ZAI, I believe.
Yes.
And yeah, they just dropped 4.6 recently. And honestly, 4.5 wasn't very old either. And they were both reasonably highly regarded.
Quen 3 is higher. It looks like this one's maybe the highest with the most. Yeah, this is the highest with the most parameters. and this is the highest, like mid-range.
The Quinn models are good. They are really good models, and honestly, as far as models coming out of China go, they've impressed me the most, and not because DeepSeek isn't good, but because they've released this whole suite of, like, you know, if you want a 3B version, if you want a 15B version, if you want the monster, if you want max, they've got that. And you know, Alibaba's a big company, one of the biggest in the world, and we shouldn't be surprised that what they're doing is good.
Yeah, exactly. So let's go back to the main page. So what we were looking at was the trends, which has a lot of really interesting charts for you to look at. But let's say, for example, you were trying to decide what model to use for your own use case. I think that you don't always have to have frontier level intelligence for what you're trying to do. You should probably try a lot of different things in order to really understand what you need. Like, you don't always need the smartest model at any given time. Perhaps you need something that's cheap. Perhaps you need something that's fast. And this has like some really easy to follow charts here. We have intelligence, which intelligence, we'll show that one. Someone asked a question earlier about speed. This compares the speed between all the different models right here. And then price. And so we can look at bigger versions of this. So right now, we can see here that as far as pure intelligence goes, which is based on, they say, their independent evaluations, you know, GPT-5 is obviously the best. But Grok 4 is right there, and Claude 4.5 Sonnet is not
right there too.
Yeah. Gemini 2.5 Pro, probably the oldest one on the chart at this point, which is why we're anticipating it to leapfrog when it comes out.
Which, back to that chart from Hader a little while ago, shows you that at that the "You Are Here" button on the cycle of so and so has the best model, so and so has the best model, so and so has the best model, because Gemini 2.5 Pro was great, still is great. Like there's still innovative stuff happening with that.
Yeah, but I mean, this chart used to be like, you know, the same kind of like 4 players here. Like, Grok is still relatively new. I mean, didn't it come out, I want to say, this year or late last year at the latest? Like, at least when in any meaningful way with Grok 3. And now there's, you know, Alibaba's on this list. We've got Llama Nematron on this list, which is from NVIDIA. XA1, I don't know them off the top of my head. I think we've covered them before, though.
GLM 4.6 isn't ranking bad for a couple-day-old model.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. So let's say, for example, you want to run one of these like open weight models and you want to spin it up on your own server instance. Like, maybe you want to, you know, you want to run your own version of it. You don't want to go over the cloud to OpenAI. When you actually run this model, yes, you could run it on z.ai's servers through their API, but there's a lot of independent API providers that are, you know, like some of those cloud providers that we showed earlier, like Nebius or CoreWeave or some of these other ones. There's actually a ton of these neo clouds that essentially offer these services to people. And
they're hosting it in the US, right?
They host it in the US, and they make a copy of the model. So they're not actually running it like when you run it through z.ai, you're running it through their API. When you run it through, say, Nebius, right, in the US, you're running a completely different version that Nebius copied, made their tweaks to, or maybe didn't. They're just running it exactly as they have it set up, and you're running it through them. So it's not the same at all. And there's a lot of these different providers. So, like, I heard recently a case where people are trying to decide between Kimi K2, which is very smart, and GLM 4.6, and which one they want to run. Well, what you can do here is you can go to, so they have a ton of charts on here, but providers for a model, you can search just specifically by providers, where you'll see a lot of these different cloud providers here. For instance, here's Nebius, Deep Infra's another one, Cerebras, Lambda, Together.ai, Hyperbolic. I really like Yuchen from Hyperbolic, so recommend them. Fireworks is another big one. Yeah, and then of course the big main providers, right? You've got Microsoft Azure, Amazon Bedrock, Cohere is another, I think they're a model provider.
Minimax.
So you can search, you can search by providers, or you can search by provider for a model. So let's say I'm really interested in GLM 4.6 reasoning. Who provides that and who sells that to me and at what cost did they sell it at. I can click this. It's not loading. Let's pick a different one. Interestingly, none of these are working right now.
Interesting.
Maybe let me reload.
Need a refresh?
Yeah. Okay, models, provider for a model. Let's go to GLM 4.6. Okay, so now I'm looking at the actual page for this specific model, and then it shows the benchmarks for the providers. So it shows me who provides it at the best speed. So this compares all of the different providers who are offering this model across speed, latency, blended price, which this is an artificial analysis way of combining the way that they price these tokens. So essentially, every model provider prices input tokens and output tokens differently. Obviously, it's cheaper to send input tokens in, and it's more expensive to get output tokens from the model, because that's when the model's actually running its calculations and it's running its calculations, and then that's where it gets expensive in terms of energy costs. So you can also look at specifically input token price and specifically output token price. But if you look at the blended price, you can kind of see, okay, this is like the average cost, and it looks like Deep Infra and GMI are the most cost-effective providers for this. But maybe your output speed is your most important factor. So then you're saying, okay, well, Novita, 61 tokens a second, and also it looks like it's only $1. So it's only 5 cents more, which does add up with scale. But if you really need tokens per second to be as fast as possible, then maybe you would go with Novita. But then if you look here and you say, okay, Deep Infra, this is 59 tokens a second. That's pretty close to Novita. Maybe that's fast enough that I, as the end consumer, wouldn't even necessarily notice a difference. So then maybe it is worth it for me to go with Deep Infra, because it costs 95 cents to run per 1 million tokens, right? And the difference between 59 tokens a second and 61 tokens per second is minimal for my use case, so I'll run with that one. So this is a really great way to compare where can I get the model that I want at the lowest cost, or the highest output speed, highest latency, lowest latency, whatever you want lowest latency, sorry. Like whatever metrics you're really optimizing for, this is a great website to compare it. And so basically you do that just by going providers for a model, look up the model you're interested in, and then see who's offering it at what price. Now, what if you don't know what model you want? Then that's where you would go to this main page and start looking at some of these metrics, like what's the intelligence, what's the price. You can look at specific benchmarks, like how good is it at coding, how good is it at science coding, how good is it at instruction following, which is an important one. That's how closely it adheres to what you're trying to get it to do.
And each of these different benchmarks can tell you, how it might perform for your task.
Right.
It's less about the numbers itself, like 99% or 82%. It's more about seeing them all side by side, knowing they've performed the exact same tasks, and by comparison, this is how they sit. And if what you're doing is messing with proteins or something, you want to know about certain models. You want to know if you're doing different types of coding, even you might want to look at different models.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if you're asking yourself, how do you compare the actual output of the different models? One of the best tools for this is a tool called OpenRouter. So let's go ahead and show OpenRouter real quick. So OpenRouter allows you to very easily run different models from different companies. So let's go ahead and see here. I don't have any budget attached to this right now, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to show a good demo.
Yeah,
let's see. Let me just test something.
I haven't used OpenRouter that much, but I want to.
It's great because basically you can have it run multiple models at the same time. So for instance, if I send one message, like in this example here, I could send one prompt and I could test it on Gemini 2.5 Pro, GPT-5 and Claude 4.5 Sonnet all at the same time. Now, that's
going to get expensive.
money, but you could do it. And that's a good way to test stuff when you're in like the initial, like, what model do I actually want for this phase? So let's just go ahead and send like a very basic request. Can we get a request? Like, what's a sample prompt or project you would run on a day-to-day basis? Anyone?
Yeah.
You Corey, or anyone?
Someone from the audience, shoot us one and we'll run yours.
Yeah. Examples could be like, what's a web task that you often ask it to do? What's like a content creation task you ask it to do? What's like a coding question you might have? And anything in that area that you would want to test it out on.
Yeah.
I'm just going to run
I have an account. I just don't have token money in there right now. I need to add some.
I'm going to just run like a very simple thing. We'll give people time to respond. So then, as you can see here, I'll say, can you tell me what you can do? And then it has GPT-5, Sonnet 4.5, and Gemini 2.5 Pro. Now it's probably going to tell me you need to add token. Yeah, it's going to tell me you need to add this for that.
Give me some money.
Yeah. But what we can do is we can remove these, and we can, I think you can limit it to just free versions. Let's see here.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see.
Probably in that cog.
Where do you see?
At the bottom. Right down, right there.
Oh yeah. Okay.
No.
Share models. They used to have an option where it was like you just only search free ones. Let me see.
Oh, Grant, oh, never mind. I thought we weren't showing this, but I think the stream is just behind.
Yeah. So I can do a couple different free ones here. Deep research free. Oh, wow. Okay, cool. Let's try this. Okay. What can you do? No endpoints for Tongi. Actually, I don't know. All right. So as you can see here now, we've got the answer from Deep Hermes 3 responding. Then we've got the Tongi research one responding. And it looks like DeepSeek did not run. It's the one that didn't run.
Checking out our latency and stuff, because the video on the left here has not yet reached Open Router.
I think that's on your end, Corey, because if I'm looking at the stream, it's showing perfectly.
Okay. Yeah. Wow, I'm still watching it live, strolling through. Okay.
You might want to refresh your page.
Can you do that while you're streaming?
You can refresh the YouTube live if you have that pulled up.
Okay. Well, my fear was it would end stream. Like I'm running the stream over here.
You know what? I'll
just not worry about it.
Yeah, it's working good. Don't.
Okay, as long as you can see it good and it's what you should see, I'm good.
Yeah. So anyway, this is just like a very basic example. I just asked 3 different models what you can do. As you can see, I sorted by which ones are free and available to me. One of them didn't work, so we'll remove that one. I wonder if I can do any DeepSeek for free or no. Let's try this one, R1. Let's say, like, can you help me solve this coding challenge? I want to spin up actually, let's do this. Let's do a 2D game. Like, let's create a game about cats fighting each other.
There we go.
Let's see this. Okay. So now we'll have 3 different providers here. What I like about this is that I don't know exactly what it's doing on the back end to tell it, like, hey, you're making a 2D game. But that's a really nice feature. Like, I think the big AI labs should consider a similar UI trick where you can very easily just toggle on, like, hey, let's optimize this project for this type of workflow with this type of situation. And now, as you can see here on Open Router, I can open these files and it'll show me the files that it's working on. I'm going to go ahead and minimize this. And so it's coding over here. And then I can see a preview of it, but there's nothing to report yet. So let's go back to, let's check out DeepSeek's version. So DeepSeek is still setting up all of the steps it's going to do to code this. DeepSeek thinks a lot. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
And then
it is not a cheap model to run, from what I hear.
This guy is cooking, but cooking slow. Keep in mind, if you pay, like you could hook up your API keys for the different models to test your different use cases across like Gemini, Claude, and what's up, ChatGPT, and it'll be a lot faster than that because obviously you're running it through them.
That's cool.
You can even, if I remember correctly, I think you can even let me do a new chat. I think you can even select on what providers you get it from. Let's see. Maybe not, actually. Well, that would be dependent on your API key that you're using. So like if you wanted to test, so if you we go back to, let's go back to artificial analysis here. So let's say we wanted to test like the example that we were doing before, which is GLM 4.6, which is new. Let's go to GLM 4.6 reasoning. And we wanted to test these models. What we could do is we could go, add our credit card to some of these providers, get an API key, put like $5, $10, whatever, to test it. And then you could, as long as they're set up on Open Router with an API key, you can easily run it on Open Router and compare them directly on Open Router. So then that way you have a single UI where you're doing this testing. You don't have to bounce back and forth between the two.
And you throw in the task that is what you're looking to build on or whatever the case is and see how they perform on that. I mean, as far as picking a model for a specific project.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's cool.
Exactly. So yeah, just I guess in general, if anyone has questions about artificial analysis, how it works, what models they think are the best.
Let's look at the agentic index on the right.
This is a good one.
Does it have an option to blow these up? No, it doesn't.
Let's see what we can do. I can possibly make it bigger.
Just thinking if anyone's watching on mobile, they probably can't read any of it.
Let's see. No. I can download the image and maybe share that. Why don't I send this to you, see if you can share it?
Yeah, send it over. I can share it. Some way, and I haven't figured this out in StreamYard yet, there's a place I can put an image and just bring it up on stage, but I haven't yet figured out which one of these I'm supposed to use. We're going to figure that out before next time, though.
All right. I'm going to upload this real quick to you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So you can show that.
While we're talking here, might be a good time to give out one more Sora invite if somebody is on the ball. And first one to ask. First message in the chat. I'm looking at the live chat. First one of you that asks, we'll have you shoot us an email. We'll get you a Sora code today. Then you can go on and join us in making horrendously ridiculous videos.
Okay, so I don't know if you have that up here, but I can just kind of talk through some of what I'm seeing here. So it looks like in terms of the agentic index, which represents the average of agentic capabilities, according to their internal, according to Bench Telecom and Terminal Bench Hard, which are just two different benchmarks for tracking this type of thing. GPT-5 Codex High is the highest on this index at 61. Then you have GPT-5 High, not Codex, which is actually a little bit lower on the scale. It's 58. So Codex is better for agent-related tasks. Then you have Grok 4, and then you have Claude 4.5 Sonnet, and they're neck and neck with each other right there. So For agent-related tasks, looks like those two are even in terms of these benchmarks anyway. All right.
That's cool. Let's see. Arnaud, you asked how to send us an email. If you want to send us an email, reach out to team@theneurondaily.com. And we try to check it. It's a busy inbox. You know, the newsletter goes to almost 600,000 people, and it gets a lot of traffic. But we do absolutely make time every day to go through. And Grant is a rock star about it. He is really good about responding to people.
Well, don't say that, because somebody will be like, you didn't respond to me. It's like, yeah. I only have so many hours in the day to review. So I've heard really good things about Kimi K2. And I've been wondering where it can actually run Kimi K2. Because if you look at the agentic index here, Kimi K2 is probably the highest, I guess
highest open weights.
Yeah, I think it's open weights. Yeah, it must be, because when we looked at this here, all these different providers are running their own versions of it. So you've got Grok, which is really, really fast, 300 tokens a second. Fireworks, 108 tokens a second. And then price deep infra is the cheapest. Navita is quite more expensive, actually. Fireworks is also a bit more expensive, as is Paracel and Grok. So Grok is like, if you need it to be really, really fast and you're willing to pay 70 cents more.
Just to clarify, in case anyone here doesn't know, this is not the same Grok as Grok AI.
Oh, yes.
I think it's important to share that Grok AI made by XAI, which is Elon Musk's company, is GROK. GROQ is an inference provider.
Yeah, it's really annoying that they have that name, especially because they both know each other. Like, I'm pretty sure the team at Grok with a Q knows the team with Grok at a K. And
absolutely,
they still both have that same name.
And I also think it's funny, it's just like there's a lot of that in AI. Like, how many people have a product called Deep Research right now?
Oh yeah, everybody. Yeah, we talked to Logan Kilpatrick about that, and he was basically like, "Yeah, my dad's like, have you heard of Deep Research?" and he was like, "Yeah, Dad, we invented Deep Research at Google." It's funny.
Oh my gosh.
So this is cool. So if I wanted to run Kimi, and let's say I wanted to run it on deep infra, let me actually go and try to do this. Never really heard of deep infra. Oh. Okay. Actually, I'll do this on to the side here, and then keep artificial analysis up. Art fight. That's interesting. That's not what I meant to click. So I guess while I'm doing this, Corey, if you have any other things you want to highlight, you could also share your screen if you want to kind of jump around here. But I wanted to just kind of tie back to what we were saying in the beginning. So there's two main trends happening here. There's a ton of demand for back-end infrastructure to power these models. At the same time, the models are all leapfrogging each other in terms of intelligence. And this is all fueling a lot of speculation in the stock market, which is leading to these dramatic, 30% days for Oracle or 27% days for AMD, where they just grow incredibly fast. And this is all fueling speculation about an AI bubble. Yep. And we're working on a piece that's kind of comparing and contrasting the two arguments for both, because I think it'd be good to have all of it in one place to look at. And that's maybe I'll have that ready by this Sunday. But essentially, as long as this leapfrogging keeps happening and companies keep deploying the tools and find value in them, this could go on.
All is fine. Yeah.
In theory, indefinitely. But the day that comes where all of these models sort of peter out, if 68 is the cap here, then some hard questions are going to get asked about all of that spending. And
Yeah.
Dylan Patel has talked about this. I think he has like the best take on it. And so definitely check out his content at Semi Analysis if you haven't seen it.
I tend
also
to not feel like it's super close.
what do you
I mean, I
at?
think there'll absolutely be companies that go bust and investor money that is lost. But the reason I just don't feel like it's close is there's still a lot of really smart money making big investments, bigger than ever. I mean, this last month we've talked, NVIDIA throwing in on 3 companies. They threw in on OpenAI. They bought a big chunk of Intel. They threw in on Grok this week, on XAI this week as well. And other money is coming in. There's still people wanting to invest. And, I don't think you invest if you're not convinced that there's not at least a good amount of runway out front. Like, it may not be tens of years, but I mean, I feel like you don't throw billions of dollars at a thing on a whim. Yeah. And I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying
you're sort of creating the demand, right? Like you're essentially like with any venture related project, you're trying to spend a lot of money for awareness, to provide these tools to build the market, and then once you've built it, then people are starting to show up now. And then the question is just, is the speculation getting ahead of the progress? And everyone has different takes on that. Everyone should decide for themselves where they think where they think that is. But if you look at like the price chart here, it shows you like with the exception of Claude 4.1 Opus, which is just incredibly expensive. It's just wild. That's why a lot of people are complaining about Claude rate limits. And that's like a huge can of worms if we want to get into that. But
it is
basically, besides this guy, like all of these are getting really, really cheap. So the question is this sustainable to provide at these prices or not?
I think something to understand about those prices is, there are 2 schools of thought you hear from all the time. You hear people saying the cost of AI is going crazy. And then you hear people like Sam Altman, Jensen Huang, for example, talking about how it's getting so cheap. It just keeps getting cheaper. And I think it's important to clarify that for folks once in a while. When they're talking about the cost of intelligence going up, they're talking about the cost of intelligence being served in an app, being served at scale to an entire enterprise corporation. The cost of enterprise being served to, even a small website. Like, as far as the demand is high enough that even at the cheap per token prices, the volume of tokens that you're running is still a substantial, massive bill at the end of the month, whether or not it is a good value for what you're getting, what you're selling, what you're sharing. And on the flip side of that, and I can't remember who to credit this to. If you in the chat know, please say so. The cost of delivering intelligence to one person, delivering one, we'll call it a unit of intelligence, is cheaper than it's ever been, and continually getting cheaper, it seems, which is an interesting conundrum. And the part I'm going to steal from someone here who I can't remember to credit is that they compared it to email. Costs a decent amount of money to provide email to a team of 500 people. But to serve email to one person, you can do it for free. That's why Gmail provides it for free. That's why Hotmail provided it for free, or AOL for years, is because the cost of one email is fractions of a cent. But if what you want is 500 emails and you need those to be, to have a decent amount of storage attached to them and be able to go back and forth, you're looking at not a great cost per email, but a substantial bill in the end just by sheer volume. And I think that's what you're looking at here with the other, because there are additional expenses to just tokens when you're serving AI to other people. You're paying for inference, you're paying for, you're paying an AWS bill, for example, that, and not to throw them under the bus, they're all expensive when you use them at large scale. So it's a good chunk of money. And, you could theoretically spin up a DeepSeek and get a good amount of traffic to the website that it winds up costing you $80,000 a month or so. Or, more or less, depending on your scale. And that's just a spitball. Please don't take that as a quote. But I think it's important to understand that when they say intelligence is cheap, they're specifically talking about the price of a token and what it takes to serve one individual. The cost, and even when you think of that one individual at scale, it's still cheap. It's just that you have so many that the bill is going to be large and come due.
Yeah.
Is that accurate, Grant? Do you think?
I would say so. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I always hear both things said, and I always think people need to understand that a little better.
Yeah, basically it's like this might be slightly inaccurate, but in like the spirit of this is true, that like basically the ultimate price for this is, one, the upfront investment of, how many GPUs, you have to pay for, and then, the payback period for how long you have to, run these things to actually make a profit off of buying all those GPUs. And then other than that, it's just priced to the price of energy, right? Like,
Yep.
It's like, okay, how much profit margin does a cloud provider want to get? But then the ultimate cost is just the cost of energy to run all these things, after you've paid off the debt and all that. And I think that's where people are getting concerned about the bubble conversation, is related to the amount of debt that is now financing these things, because obviously all of the big hyperscalers can, pay for investments because they know they're going to have a lot of revenue coming in. But then now that a lot of debt is coming into the system, there's a concern because, debt has to get paid off one way or another. And, someone's debt is another person's income. And so if we're
Yep.
playing musical chairs here and all of a sudden the music stops, and that's where all of that big circular interconnectedness of the whole industry causes people concern. But like we said, as long as there's still value being created and there's still progress happening, it looks like it's going to continue.
Yeah, and the last estimate I saw, as far as like number of companies, percentage of companies worldwide actively implementing AI, the number was ridiculous. It was like 15 or 16%, and it was like, that's a long way to go. And that may not be accurate, so don't hold me to it. But so I probably shouldn't be sitting here parroting it out. But I just remembered hearing it was shockingly low, and that really surprised me. I wasn't prepared for it to be that little. I just assumed, because our day-to-day is involved in it. Even the work we do with our parent company is very involved with it every day. And I think it's easy to assume that's going on everywhere. And the fact is, there are still companies out there who are resisting, who are in denial, who have functions that maybe AI is not great for yet in some ways. But, some places embraced it, and there's a big head start you get with that right now.
So I was just trying to figure out how to actually run what I was trying to do here with Open Router, and it looks like it's going to take me a little bit longer than probably it would be, worth it to keep streaming.
Well, maybe we can get into that next time.
Yeah. I'll add it to the write-up as I'm setting this up, because I've got set up on Deep Infra and I can do some testing. And then, obviously if you're on Open Router, I'll just show people real quick. When you're on here, let's see, API. Actually, here we go. So if you can add your keys here. So you can create an API key, say like Kimmy K2, credit limit, leave blank for unlimited. You probably want to put like,
whoa, put a number.
Yeah. Let's just do $5. Okay, create that.
Amount in millions. Yeah.
Copy this. Okay, and then delete that, actually, because I don't want people to use that key. But then you set the key there, and then you can actually buy credits directly through Open Router, right?
Yep.
So you buy them here, charge yourself.
Yep.
And then you can do all the testing you want directly in here to see how the
a little bit goes a long way.
Yeah.
It doesn't. You don't have to put $100 in there. You know.
Yeah, these prices. Let's just compare something here. Models, leaderboards. I'll just scroll down. So let's get a price. So this is per 1 million tokens. So it takes a while for you to actually generate 1 million tokens, depending on your use case. So that's like, that shows you like how cheap it is to run a lot of this stuff. But then obviously if you want like the leading edge or Claude 4.1
or Claude 4.1, GPT
expensive.
4.5 would have been up there too.
Yeah,
those are probably the two most expensive models we've seen to date.
They took it down. I feel like OpenAI called chicken on 4.5. They're like, nah, not worth it. Whereas like Anthropic's like, yeah, we'll offer it to you, but you're gonna have to pay.
Yeah. I had a couple projects I was lobbying to use 4.5 for because it was a beautiful writer. You know, it was built for writing. That was you know, that one. Some of these models kind of have their goal. Like I think 4.1 was great for coding. 4.5 was a heck of a writer, and I desperately wanted to use it for a thing I was working on, but cost scared everybody away.
So let me show you. So there's some other things you can look at here. Like you can look at, so we've been just talking about like, you know, basic text models, but you know, there's all these there's image generation models that you can compare on here, which I don't know how useful this is. If you want to, this is just for you to get like a benchmark. Like what are the 3 I should try, right? Like what are the 3 I should try, go out and test them and compare. But you're going to have to try all of these for your specific use case and see which one works for you. You know, you can also compare the models directly. We might want to share a little bit about LM Arena. We can share that on here as well.
A good rule of thumb is that, you know, you want the most efficient model for the task you need. You know, it's also good for people with environmental concerns about AI. Like, you know, not over selecting a model is probably better for the world. It's definitely better for your checkbook and your speed. You know, when you're trying to fight latency in a big agentic build, one of the things you got to do is, you know, you're separating these processes down by steps. And when you've got minimal steps, you want a fast model hitting that light stuff. That way, the seconds you need for it to do a quick task on a thinking model are there without over bloating the amount of time it should take to run, because, you know, latency is big.
Yeah, for sure.
Marina. You said you were heading to LM Arena?
Well, actually, so artificial analysis has expanded quite a bit. As you can see here, they have an image arena and also arena. So there's arenas actually on here, which sort of shows the same example. So for instance, let's just explain arenas and how they work. Essentially, this is how they rank how well, or like, it's kind of like crowdsourcing the preferences and the rankings. So for instance, this arena here is comparing 2 different images from 2 different models. According to the prompt, a professional mentoring session with a seasoned executive sharing wisdom with a young protege over a casual lunch meeting. So you can say which one looks more accurate. This honestly looks like a young girl, so I would probably go with this one.
I think the lighting is better in the one on the right. I think there's more detail in the food. It looks less fake. I think, you know, and with images, it's tricky because the fact of the matter is, you know, images can all be right. Early on, that was not the case. Like, it was easy to detect early on. It was like, okay, 5 fingers, 9 fingers, got it, winner. Now it doesn't work like that. Like, now you're looking at more subtle differences. You're looking at different approaches to what makes them different. And the fact is, art is subjective at its core. And what one person likes and another doesn't is a little tougher with image and video than it used to be, I think.
So this is a video example. This is interesting because the prompt is a time lapse of a small sapling growing into a massive tree towering over the forest. This video is cool and honestly looks better to me, but it is not following the prompt, right? It's just you're zooming out from a sapling and showing a giant tree. This video over here is actually following the prompt and it's growing from a sapling into a tree. So I would pick that one.
Yeah, that's how you get the winner there. That's clear.
Split screen showing the daily routines of an Arctic polar bear and an Arctic penguin. All right. I think this is accurate. I don't know what is happening there, so I'm going to prefer this.
Yeah, the one on the left was a little goofy, wasn't it? Did it show you? It shows you what model when you're done, right?
Yeah, it shows you at the end. But what I like about this is it also creates a personal leaderboard for you. I think you have to hit these votes and then like this critical threshold. And then you can see like, oh, these are the ones I like based on my use cases. That's really cool. I don't know if LM Arena might have that feature too, but it's really awesome.
Yeah.
You can do this with text-to-speech models on here as well.
I didn't realize
Protein
you
isn't
do
just
it
for
with
muscle
text.
Say that again?
I said I didn't realize you couldn't do it with just text generation.
You might be able to.
I want to hear those voices though before we.
Let's do it. Yeah.
It plays a role in hormone regulation, immune defense, and tissue repair.
Protein isn't just for muscle building. It plays a role in hormone regulation, immune defense, and tissue repair.
Protein isn't just for muscle building.
Which one do you like?
The second sounds more like an actual person talking to.
Agreed.
Neutrinos are nearly mass.
Multilingual versus vibe voice.
Okay.
Yeah. And then they also have music on here, which is interesting. I've never actually done a music comparison before.
Ooh, no, that is interesting. Let's try that.
Quiet sun just falling low.
It's just wild that that's freaking robots.
It is.
Another day, another not quite spoke. Breathing slow, you're watching me. Hands not meeting space in between. Small.
It sounds like jazz.
I feel the night breathe in my bones. Shadows dance across these walls. Every heart beats a quiet drum. Echoes of your name still call. I'm searching for the truth.
They're both so good.
I think the second one.
Yeah, that was good. Because the prompt is stripped down soul track with minimal instrumentals.
Man.
It's hard because I think this one follows the minimal instrumentals better, but then it also doesn't sound, I mean, I guess there's a soul element to it. This one sounds more like jazz and there are more instrumentals, but the vocals are perfectly soul. So,
as a guy who listens to a lot of jazz, it's not like overwhelming instruments though.
Okay.
You're not listening to loud, crazy horns going wild. There's no drums. There's no, it's very or minimal. It's very soft. As far as quality of the song goes, that second one's really good anyway.
Someone said the second voice was an actual person, the host of the Zoe podcast.
On the first,
before
this one.
Oh, got you. Okay. Well, which one would you vote for, Corey?
I'd vote for number two. I'd vote for number two.
So that was 11 Music versus Fuzz 2.0.
Okay.
And then,
what do we got my buddies are playing with Suno nonstop right now.
Yeah, Suno is allegedly number one. It's got so you can see for all of the leaderboards, you could see for pop, for rock, for
so you should know on my Friday night D&D night, every character has a theme song, and we now have a group theme song as well, thanks to Suno.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, very very. I don't know if any of you will know him, but Sabaton. It's a very it's almost like history metal, war metal. I don't know.
Here's how I feel about this. Like, I feel like that use case is really fun for it,
yes.
Right? It gets weird when it's like, okay, now all of a sudden we're going to try and make a ton of money off of it.
I feel different on the radio. Yeah,
like
I was wondering the other day if there won't come a day. I was like, what does this look like in the long term? Like 10 years from now, what does this look like? Right. And I'm like, is there a guy standing on stage with a laptop, just like a DJ, going, all right, we're going to make a song just for you, St. Louis. And and just blasted it out right there on the spot. I mean, what do you? It could be.
We could, yeah. That's hilarious.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel
hope.
about that as a guy who's been a
Yeah.
musician my whole life.
Yeah, that feels like a novelty kind of thing. Like, I don't know if people would go to a concert for that, you know?
Of course,
I
that's
think it's
what
just
people said about EDM too.
look, you're not wrong. And the argument that this is just another form of EDM, I think fits, or electronic music, I think fits with my worldview, but it's just unknown.
Yeah, and I'm not so much sharing an
area.
opinion on it really as just trying to show.
No, it's an interesting.
There are good arguments from any direction, really, for like, yeah, well, you said that before, you know, and yeah, like I don't have a desire to go seek out actively AI music personally. With that said, I did listen to the Velvet Sundown, and I was impressed.
I played it for my wife Lizzie, and she was like she thought it was real.
My first thought was
AI.
that the first AI band I heard organically would not be for music that I like. Like I was expecting, you know, pop music, you know, stuff like that, and instead it was like, oh, this feels like Neil Young and America, Crosby, Stills and Nash. You know, it's like, whoa.
Yeah. So this is cool. I didn't even know they did this. So on artificial analysis, they do AI hardware benchmarking now. That's awesome.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. So comprehensive benchmarking of AI accelerator systems for language model inference. We measure how performance scales with concurrent load on NVIDIA 8 H100s, H200s, and B200 systems using DeepSeek R1, Llama 4 Maverick, Llama 3.370B, and GPT OSS 120B.
All right. What do we got? Peak output speed.
So Llama 4 on a B200, or this Tensor R2 one. Let's see, peak system throughput. What's this?
Output throughput.
Output throughput.
I've got to think of that.
The total number of tokens that can be processed per second across all concurrent requests. The overall system capacity and efficiency.
Hey, I haven't said it in a little bit, but just I noticed crowd's dwindling down a little bit. If you're still here, we really appreciate that you came today. We're having a lot of fun. Please take a minute, if you don't mind, to like and subscribe to the channel. Help support us in what we're doing. We have some big hopes for this channel, and we are scoring. We got some cool stuff coming over the next few weeks. Reminder that we'll be at Adobe Max at the end of this month, and probably broadcasting live from there, as well as possibly. These are all still a little up in the air. I'm waiting for final. Well, Adobe Max isn't. It's more the can we be live from there. And the Tech Equity AI Summit in San Francisco, November 7th and 8th. That's another one you want to check out. Hopefully we'll be there. If you are, come say hi.
This is price per GPU hour. This is interesting. So this compares on Amazon, on Google, and on Microsoft Azure.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. So Amazon's the cheapest on an H200.
Rental prices, I guess.
Yeah, so this is US Central Region pricing. Reflects on-demand hourly rates as listed by provider.
Yeah, so that 1110 is per hour or whatever. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, that's the thing to know if you don't deal in like software development and big AWS accounts, Azure accounts, is that a lot of those things, when you lease them, rent space on them, you're renting them by the hour. So that's the cost that can get out of hand if you're not really careful and making, you know, good, efficient decisions as you go. What's that? I see a dip and I want to know what it is.
Right here or this?
That. What are we looking at here?
This is system throughput on the concurrency on a log scale. On a rhythmic scale. So I guess once it hits this threshold here, it goes down.
I'll be darned.
So this is a total number of tokens that can be processed per second across all concurrent requests.
Yeah.
This metric measures the overall system capacity and efficiency, taking into account both the per query output speed and the system's ability to handle multiple concurrent requests.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
I'll be darned. This is getting into the pretty technical.
yeah, but it's cool.
Just
It's cool that
realizing
it's
how
on
deep
here.
we've gotten.
Yeah,
I'm like, that's
it's
where
just,
all the people went.
like I can't tell you, like, over the past year that I've been using this tool, like they have expanded. They have so much stuff. You can compare coding agents on here, which is just awesome. I didn't even know you could do this. You can compare vision models, multilingual capabilities across different languages.
Mm-hmm.
What is even down here with tools? Oh, they've got a price calculator and caching. That's cool to know if you need that. Chatbots, evaluations. You can look at the specific benchmarks that people often reference here. Specifically, humanities last exam's a fun one.
That is
and
a
it
fun
shows
one.
like progress towards AGI, right? In theory. So GPT-5 is at 26%. So I don't know what this is. April.
Cost to the output tokens to run the exam.
Mm.
Tokens used to run the evaluation. And then below is cost to run the evaluation.
So that might tell you the action efficiency of it, perhaps.
Yeah.
And the action efficiency, I mean, how quickly it learns, or well, actually, I don't know if it would be learning in this case. It would just be how many tokens it takes to get the answers correctly.
GPT-5 did it with 880,000 tokens on the end on the right there. GPT-5 minimal.
Are you talking about this one?
Yeah.
This...
Does that say minimal? The smallest.
Oh, this one?
No, all the way at the end. The lowest.
Oh. I don't know what that one is. Yeah, minimal.
Interesting.
Yeah. There's just so much cool stuff on here.
You could get buried in this for weeks.
Yeah. Like oftentimes I want to like just share like, hey, here's what the latest, benchmarks on here show. And then I just get overwhelmed. It's like, I want to show people like this is the speed, this is the intelligence, this is like where we are on the frontier chart. This is, all of this really crazy stuff. It's just like, it's a lot. Micro evals, what is this? The fastest way to run vibe check evals on models for your use case. Run the same prompt across multiple models to see how they perform. I like this. So this is great. So this is a collection of physics animations, mostly using p5.js. SVG animals, that's a fun one. Strawberry, easy questions that LLMs trip up on. Arcade racing games, deep meaningful questions. Let's do one of these. What makes us human? Oh, this is cool. It shows like the answers, and then people can vote on which answers they like. It's ranked by how many people liked each.
That's awesome.
This is really cool. I had no idea they had this on here. Micro evals. Okay, I'm doing right up on this. Game design. This was fun. Hacker News clone.
Very
cool. So you can actually play these games on here. Let's see, this is the best one. Oh, I see. This is cool.
Oh, it is. That Breakout was my favorite game as a kid. I used to love Breakout. It's basically that.
Endless Dodger. Okay, you gotta watch out for stuff.
Oh. So far, the best strategy is don't move the ball.
Yeah.
There we go.
Getting close, but yeah, you're right.
Actually, there we go. That's the first one you would have had to move for, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, there you go. Very fun.
Cool.
It's not
What
yet
did,
Call of Duty, but it's a start.
Okay, so I don't really understand how I'm supposed to. Oh, am I supposed to shoot these things? Ah,
there we go. It's Asteroids from Atari. I remember this well.
wow. Yeah.
So we're officially at the
pretty
you
good.
can generate an Atari game
From scratch.
anyone could. Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
So let's see what happens when we move up to like the Nintendo Entertainment System level.
Yeah.
That's how we'll
For
rank
real.
them. We'll rank them in consoles they compare to.
Let's try something. Gemini just or AI Studio. Gemini just made it so you could vibe build. Let's try this. Let's go to speech to text here. Hey, can you make a Nintendo level game, like a Mario equivalent platformer for me to play in my browser window? Thanks. How do I send it? Oh no.
Run on the right.
Oh, okay. Let's see it.
We see what happens. Narrowing down features. Just a few more minutes before we have to go today, but I'm anxious to see how this game works.
Let's see if it gets something up and running before we drop off.
We got a good start.
Coding entirely with your voice.
Wow. Yeah, and I mean, odds are that one prompt is going to give you something that mostly works. It may need follow-up prompts, but I'm willing to bet you'll go from word out of your mouth to what is, in fact, a game of sorts in one prompt. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is just cranking.
It is. Let's see. Oh.
Root cause.
It hit problems. It's debugging. Which in itself is really impressive, by the way.
Yeah. There was an announcement, I think it was earlier this week or maybe late last week, that they have it's called Code Mender, a new model specifically for finding bugs. So that's a huge thing that now we're working on, is to like specifically train models to find bugs. All right.
Whoa.
Okay. So space to move, up to jump. How do I start it?
Click it.
Click it?
No.
Okay, so I'm going to say, hey, how do I start this thing? And also, can I control it with my voice?
And where's Mario?
I wonder if you can actually like hit send with your voice. I want to figure that out. That would actually be crazy if you could just tell it like go left, go right.
Be a cool accessibility feature for
the
right
for real.
people.
Yeah. I think the voice control logic might break it, but
yeah, I thought when you said, can I control it with my voice? I was like, oh no, now it's going to think about that for 24 minutes.
It's definitely thinking about it. It's like, how the hell would I do this if I wanted to? Just use the arrow keys and spacebar on the keyboard. Okay.
Oh, okay. Allow it to access your microphone.
Allow. Move left. No, it doesn't work. We haven't even confirmed that the left and the right keys work yet. Okay, let me pull this out. The left and the right keys don't work unless there's a button I have to press in order to get it to start. Nothing happens when I press those buttons. So can you make sure the control keys are hooked up? Thank you. Send it.
And we see what happens.
Send. No, it doesn't work.
That's a hard no.
They need like to add a trigger that basically says if you send it, if you hit say send it, it'll send it.
Read the words.
Yeah.
Send.
It won't even let me actually like send the request now. Okay. Let's see. I wonder if they shared something about this. Logan might have.
Yeah, we'll have to check and see.
Okay, I'll have to look into that. It's not even letting me send anything. Let me refresh it.
Cool.
What if I go full screen? Does this help? Nope. Hey, the controls don't work. Can you make sure that they're set up or add some sort of feature that triggers them to start? Like click to start game, something like that? By the way, you should, if you want to actually make a game with Google, you should give it a lot more starting information than just this.
Oh yeah. Hey, make me a game like Mario. Yeah.
Yeah. I would probably start with another session where I say something like, hey, I'm going to brainstorm a game. This is the type of thing I'm thinking about. Can you help me think through this? What am I missing? What are good game design principles I should consider? And at the end of this chat, we're going to turn this into a prompt that we'll take to Gemini to build. And then you can brainstorm it. And then, now that it has that context, hopefully it'll trigger you and remind you like, okay, do we want to make the prompt now? If not, you just say when you have something you're happy with, you say, okay, let's turn this into a prompt at the end.
Yeah. And then bring it over. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I would do as well.
Yeah.
And ought to do. It's interesting though. I mean, it's come a long way. It's not perfect, but it's, it's certainly very impressive.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff you can do right now. I think that's why the real question comes down to just like, can we afford? I mean, the sky's the limit. If we can build all of these data centers and we get the models to the point where whether we're solving it with code or solving it with AI, can we get to the point where we can create pretty much anything we want with just chatting or just giving our ideas. Okay, click anywhere to start. I moved once and then it's stuck to the corner.
Oh, no, you're jumping.
I can jump. Okay, that was a weird glitch. Something's glitched. Go left, go right. No, I was wondering if it had something to do with the controls are janky.
Oh, give us a coin. Get us a coin, Grant.
It doesn't let me leave this corner. Okay, let me give it the feedback. So the controls are totally messed up. It's pushing me all the way to the left when I click the right button, and it usually gets stuck. So there's some sort of conflict happening. Go through, check the code relating to the controls, strip it all back and simplify it and see if we can get it working so that I can go left when I click left button, go right when I click right button, jump when I click the space bar or up button, and fix it.
Good call. Yeah, fix it.
I'll share when we make the blog post for this. I'll share the results here. See if I was able to get it working. I'll share it with people.
Yeah, if it were, we can share it.
Yeah.
If it is, we.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's looks like we're at time, if we want to call it.
Yeah, we're about at time. But since you just started another prompt, I feel like we should give it the minute to get through there.
We'll see if it can surmount the challenge.
Yeah. Refining collision detection. There we go. Refining horizontal movement. Improving.
I'm working to prevent teleportation and stuck issues. It's like, how about just make it function?
Just make it work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
There's a lot of design principles you could apply in your original prompt to make it try and design things in the most simple way possible.
You could also grab all that reasoning as you're going and dump it into another AI separately and be like, is there any problems you see in the way they're doing this? What's what feedback should I be giving?
Yeah, I mean, you can use Open Router and basically like go in and say like give them all three the challenge to solve this and see how they do.
Yeah.
A lot of times what people will do is they'll take code from one AI and put it into the other one and ask them to debug it. That's a pretty effective tool. Basically just using all of the models available to you and seeing which one can come up with the solution you need.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we're getting close to wrapping it now. There we go. I say that. I thought it was fixing to give us the checklist.
The game's update logic has been completely overhauled to fix buggy controls and collision detection. The new implementation correctly separates.
Oh, ooh.
Okay, there we go.
Oh, yeah.
Sweet.
Dun.
But it's physically impossible to get that. Oh, wait, let's see.
Can you double jump?
I
You sure can.
I didn't get a coin, but I did get over the making progress.
Oh,
oh no, there's no death logic.
Well, hey, that's okay.
We should add that.
Or not.
Oh, I'm stuck. We need to add a way to restart the game as well. That's always
cool.
good.
That's
good
cool.
Game design platform.
Well, on that note, let's let what do we call it? Barrio. Barrio sisters. Yeah.
No trademark infringement.
Yeah, none whatsoever.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thanks so much for joining, and gals, excuse me. Thanks so much for joining us today. We've had a lot of fun. I hope you'll join us back next time. A lot of things coming up. Please take a minute to like and subscribe to the podcast. We really appreciate that. It does a lot toward helping us grow the audience and keep justifying what we're doing. And we appreciate that. Check out the newsletter at theneuron.ai. Join 600,000 others who do the same every morning. And if you need anything, we're always here and glad to help. If you ever have an idea for what would make a good live, shoot them over. Sometimes it's a struggle from one time to the next to come up with what's right for this week. And we had a couple things we might have done otherwise, like maybe OpenAI's agent builder, but
we'll do one on that.
We haven't spent enough time with it yet either, so we decided
haven't had the time. We'll be doing it over the weekend, so we can create.
We
did publish a tutorial with all of the Dev Day stuff that was created. Yep. So you should check that out on the website.
John P asked about Sora, please. We should also share the Sora video we recorded a few days ago right here in the chat.
Yeah. Well, some people are saying they want Sora code. I think they want Sora.
Oh, they want Sora code.
You can email us team@theneurondaily.com. We'll see if you're the first person to email.
Yeah, it all depends. Oh, I gave people the wrong code earlier. I need to send an email back.
Okay, whoa. I have one too.
If Suzanne or Reggie are still watching, my apologies. I had mine backwards in my head. I'll fix you up. All right. Well, thank you,
cool.
And we'll see you all next time.
Oh, wait. Before you drop off, I want to recap. So the special shout out to Grant Slatton, who shared that first chart, and Hyder, who shared that second chart. The tools that we mentioned were artificial analysis and Open Router, so you can check those out. Artificial analysis has so many resources, more even than we could even process today when we were looking at it. It's an incredible website. You can even do your own leaderboards on there. And then Open Router is a great way to test multiple tools for your specific use case at one time. Neither of those are sponsored. They're just awesome things that we wanted to tell you guys about this week. And then, we'll be doing live soon on hopefully the agent builder. We can do a live tutorial for that. If not, we'll record one and share it with y'all. And thank you for your time and attention. Oh, and then last thing, Yap to app is what Google's calling that, where you can now build apps with your voice.
That's right, Yap to app. That's what they call it.
It works well, actually.
I was impressed.
You just might want to provide more detail than we did, and sometimes maybe that's easier to write. It just depends on what the situation calls for. I think it's easier to iterate with it via voice, but you might want to give an initial text prompt fully via text, so you can get all the details you want.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, thanks everyone.
Well, everybody have a great week. We've got an episode dropping tomorrow, and we've got an episode dropping next Wednesday. You won't want to miss next Wednesday's or tomorrow's. Tomorrow's is a fun one too. We're talking,
or the one that we released on Tuesday with Claude and Coma.
Yeah, that was another great one. Yeah,
they're like full end-to-end provider. They can literally spin up, any open source model that you want to run. I don't know what their deals are with like OpenAI and all those. Perhaps they run those too, and they're really fast because they have these really awesome architected chips that they're working on trying to get the word out on. So very cool episode. Definitely check that out.
And tomorrow's is Mark Williams Cook. He's he's a public voice in the SEO space, talking about how AI has impacted SEO, how it is, and that matters whether you are a publisher, a person with a website, and you're trying to figure out how to get some traffic to it. If you have a product you're trying to sell, you need to know this stuff. So we went and found the man with the plan and brought him in and had a really great conversation with a lot of good actionable ideas. So I hope you'll watch. I hope you'll enjoy. And until next time, farewell for now, humans.
Bye. Stay curious.